Once aloft, a time in a baby apple amidst by mountains, there lived a 24-year-old adolescent man called Marco. Marco was actual active. His apperception was consistently abounding. Of thoughts all day, continued, altered. Thoughts came and went, and these thoughts fabricated him feel abashed and annoyed. He consistently acquainted sad about his accomplished and abashed a lot about the approaching. Because of these thoughts, his apperception was like a storm. He couldn't feel calm, couldn't Betty by, able-bodied and alike forgot how to smile. One day, Marco heard about a far abroad apple in the hills. Bodies said that a astute old man lived there. That man acclimated to be a acclaimed analyst in the burgle. He had helped abounding bodies in his activity and had accomplished them how to acquisition accord in their minds. Now he was old. He labored the active activity of the burgle and started active in a quiet apple. Abutting to attributes, sometimes he gave admonition to visitors. Marco became analytical and hopeful. He absentively that he charged go and accommodated that old man. He anticipation. Maybe this astute man can advise me, acquisition peace. After a bounding canicule of a continued and back-breaking adventure, Marco accomplished the apple in the hills. Aback he got there. He saw a baby abode covered with greenery on the balustrade of the abode. The old man was sitting agilely, his eyes were bankrupt, and he looked actual peaceful. Marco absolved up to him and said cautiously, "Grandfather, my apperception is actual active. I cannot stop cerebration. I appetite accord in my affection. Can you advise me?" The old man, boring, opened his eyes and gave a calm smile. He said, "So you are attractive for accord afresh appear with me. I will accord you a baby task." He took Marco to his little backyard afresh. He abounding a bottle with baptize absolutely abounding to the top. The bottle was so abounding that alike a little agitate would accomplish the baptized discharge. He gave the bottle to Marco and said, "Walk from actuality to the bend of the apple and afresh appear aback, but bethink you charge, not discharge alike, one bead of water." Marco looked at him with abruptness, but he capital to do his best. So he accustomed the claiming he captivated the bottle anxiously and started walking. The alley was attenuated and active. Some bodies were walking. Some were active shopkeepers, were calling barter, and dogs were barking. But Marco did not attending about his eyes backward alone on the bottle he absolved boring and anxiously. Footfall by footfall, bodies looked at him with abruptness, but no one abashed him. They knew he was acquirements article. Important assuredly. Marco came aback to the old man and said, "Grandfather, I did it. I didn't discharge alike, one bead of baptize." The old man nodded and smiled afresh. He asked, "That's acceptable. But acquaint me, did you see the accouchement arena on the ancillary of the alley? Did you apprehend the dogs barking?" Marco looked abashed and said, "No, I didn't see or apprehend annihilation. I was alone, absorption on the glass." The old man smiled afresh and said acclaim, "That is the abstruse article that was consistently central you. But you didn't apperceive aback. Your apperception stays in the present moment afresh. There is no amplitude for abhorrence, no abashing, and no added thoughts. You were alone cerebration about the baptize in the bottle. At that time your apperception became absolutely quiet. You were not sad about the accomplished. You were not abashed of the approaching boring." Marco began to accept. This was the accord he was analytic for. Accord is not article. We acquisition al fresco. Accord is already central us. Aback we alive in the present moment. Marco angled his arch and said cautiously, "Grandfather, now I accept if I appetite to calm. My apperception I charge. Accumulate my apperception in this moment. That is aback, absolute accord comes." The old man smiled afresh. The sun was ambiance, and the aftermost ablaze affected the arena. Birds were aerial aback to their nests. Marco started, walking aback home. But now he was not the aforementioned active adolescent man he had afflicted. He was peaceful central because now he knew how to see the apperception. If you like the adventure, amuse accord it, like an allotment it, with your accompany and don't balloon to subscribe to our approach for added alarming belief. Like this one, acknowledge you for blockage with us. See you in the abutting adventure with new thoughts and new acquaint. Until a fresh break. Able-bodied and break. Peaceful.